If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I'd want is you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I'd want is you to shade me and be my leaves.
Hi everyone, Crystal here from Crystal's Art Factory. Today I'm going to show you one of many ways of making your own art journal. For art journaling, quite a lot of people like to buy their own, but personally I'm really fussy. I find some of the paper might be peeling because I'm not very gentle with my paper. So I like to choose my paper and make my own. So today I'm gonna use one method inspired by Teesha. I'll put the link below the video so you can have a look at her video. And some of the pages will have flaps as well, which is quite a nice option to have. I'm using 2 sheets of A1 paper. I'm not sure in inches how long it is, but I will put below the details. I'll do the conversion for you. So I'm using 2 sheets today of I think it's multimedia. It's Fabriano paper. I think it's multimedia paper. I think it's something like maybe 180 or 200 MSG. So it's heavy paper, but not too heavy. I'm going to be using also metal ruler, quite a large metal ruler, to be able to tear the paper and obviously measure the paper to know where I want it torn. I'm going to be using some duct tape as well. That's quite a funky one, that one. And also I'm going to be using some masking tape as well, because I won't want all the pages to have flaps, so I'll want some of the pages to be just a normal signature. Needle as well, tapestry needle. I'll be using as well some baker's twine as well to stitch the pages together. An awl as well to punch the pages. Bone folder as well. Regular pencil and some scissors as well that I'll be using. So first thing I'm going to do is to take one sheet. I'll just use that one there, and I'm going to measure in the length there and the width halfway. So that's going to be 50 centimeters, so half of it is going to be 25. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And somewhere in the middle as well. So I have a nice straight line, because my ruler might not be long enough to tear the whole page. So I want to be able to pick it up properly. There we go. And if I do a very thin line there, joining all my marks together. Here we go. And what I'm going to do is hold my ruler really tight and start tearing the paper. And that paper is actually tearing quite nicely. Previously I used some Fabriano watercolor paper, and I mean, fair play, it's beautiful paper, absolutely amazing, but tearing it was a bit of a challenge because it was tearing a little bit too easily, so it wasn't tearing straight, or I wasn't doing it right, one or the other. But this one is actually much better. So I'm going to keep those together. I'm going to leave those on the side, and I'm going to take my second sheet of paper, which has fallen on the floor, so if you just bear with me, sorry about that. Here we are. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So again, I'm not measuring exactly, I'm doing, you know, roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you decide to tear it. It's not going to look perfect anyway, so it's just for me to know more or less where to tear my paper. There we are. So rough one there. There we go, looks about right. And again, I'm going to be holding very tight, very firmly, and tearing my paper. There we are. So now I have 4 long strips of paper. What I'm going to do with these, I'm going to create my signatures. What I want to do is to have a journal where each page is going to be more or less a square. I quite like that kind of layout, because when you do a double page spread, it actually looks really nice, and I get accustomed to doing it, I think. So what I'm going to do is measure. I know it's 25 centimeter there. The length is going to be 60, about 70 centimeters. So if we divide by 3, that's going to be just under 25 centimeters. So what I'm going to do, what I'm planning to do, is to have 2 sheets with a flap. So that's not too much, you know, of an issue, how long each page is going to be. You could just fold it in 3 roughly, and that would be fine, which I think that's what I'm going to do. But if I do just under 25, let's say 24.5 centimeters, I'll just mark it with my nail. So as you can see, it's not, you know, perfect science. Doesn't have to be. And again, 24.5. Just mark it with my nail. If I fold my paper, just trying to find my mark there. There we go. So I've got my first fold here. I'm just going to try to align it a bit better. I'm just using my hand. I'm just doing it roughly. And then another one there. Can actually have it a little bit smaller, to be honest with you. Probably about 24 centimeters. There we are. I'm just going to use my bond folder to try to have it a bit neater. So as you can see, I'm folding it not in the way the paper is supposed to be folded, so you're going to have some creases on the side there. There we are. That's a bit better, and if I try to pull that one a little bit more in. So that's it. Roughly. more like it. I'll bring that one a bit closer together. I'm using a wallpaper table because my desk is a little bit too small for these pages, so I do apologize about the noise. It just keeps making weird noises as I push. There we go. So that's one. If I use my second page to do pretty much the same, if I just put it on top, I'll just fold it in the fold, tuck in the other one, have some kind of approximation. There we are. And I'll have the flap turn that one over. As you can see, I'm just eyeballing it. That's just good enough for me. I don't want to stress about, oh my god, that's not straight, oh my god, that's not equal, oh my god, that doesn't match. As long as I can stitch them together, I'm happy. So what I'm going to do with those two pages is I'm going to have the flap going opposite ways. So I have one flap on the left, put my other page, and one flap on the right. So I'm going to set these up that way. Now for the other two pages, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use a flap. I'm going to have them pretty much the same size as the other ones. So if I use these and just fold over, just like I did before. Yeah, that looks about right. There we go. And where I would normally have the flap, I'm actually going to use a cutter. Let's put that one a bit straighter. And I'm just going to cut that extra page there. Just align it. There we go. There we are. So keep that one on the side. So I've got just one normal double page, which I'll include. I think I'm gonna include it probably in the middle. And I'm going to be doing the same with my last strip of paper then. Now just tuck it in roughly. That's good enough. Here we go. More or less straight. And again, I just get my trimmer and just cut the excess. And I'm just gonna put this one, I'll put it on the second page. So I have my first page with the flap on the left. I have a normal page, then another normal page, then I've got another normal page here, double page, my flap on the right, and all my normal pages here. Now with the excess, what I'm going to do, because I don't like wasting paper unless I really have to, I'm just going to put them together and I'm going to use them to make my cover. So if I put those two together, what I need to do is to take into account the fact that it's going to be a little bit thicker, so I might need to leave a little bit of room for it to actually cover properly the rest of the pages. So if I put one underneath here and the other one on top, just to give me an idea. And I'm just going to measure again, just to give me an idea. That's almost 4.5, so if I say 5 centimeters, so I know I will need 10 centimeters between those two there. So I'm just going to use my duct tape. If I can find where it starts. No. Ah, there it is. Here we are. Now, if I have a look, my duct tape is 5 centimeters wide, so that's pretty good. What I will need to do is to keep one strip, put one sheet not too wide. Here we are, and if I cut that little bit there, it doesn't matter if I leave quite a bit longer than the page. It doesn't really bother me because I'm going to put some in the middle as well to link them together. I'm going to be doing the same with the other page. I'm going to try to put it more or less straight. Here we are. Get it there. It's quite a hard wearing duct tape, this one. Here we go. Now, if you remember, we said we need 10 centimeters between the two pages here. Obviously, because I've used a little bit on each side to stick the paper, I'll need a little bit, an extra strip in the middle to link them all together. So if I put those together and see about 10 centimeters, a little bit closer, yeah, that's about right. Here we are. And I'm going to use another one in the middle. Here we go, and I've got my cover with a spine. Now I've done my cover, I've decided to change the order of my pages. I've got just a double page here first, then another double page, then I've got the one with the flap on the left, and then the one with the flap on the right. Then what we need to do now is basically to just stitch them together, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna put the cover on top, put them all together, and what we need to do is to grab a couple of these, keep the sheets together. Get the middle one. Here we go. And on the other side. There we are. And I'm going to grab the owl and do a hole in the middle. Again, totally eyeballing it. Here we are. Another one at the bottom, about half an inch away from the bottom, let's say. And another one from the top. Just making sure aligned pretty much. That one's moved a bit. That's fine, I can live with that. Last thing we need to do is just to stitch the journal together. I've got some baker's twine and I'm measuring 2.5 times the height of the paper, roughly, a little bit more. Get it? And all you need to do to stitch that journal is just a figure of 8. If I just try to put the baker's twine in the middle. That's actually the hardest job. Now, depending on where you want the end of the baker's twine or the thread that you're using, you can have it either hanging outside or inside, and you can tuck it in. I think what I want to have it outside. Depending then on where outside you want it to hang, you can either start by the top or the middle or the bottom. I'm going to start with the top. I'm going to go through the holes that I've made. I've got quite a few layers, so I might have to go through each sheet of paper to find where the holes are, especially since I used some duct tape for the spine, so it's a lot thicker. Here we go. There's a little bit dangling there. Then inside in the middle, so that should be a little bit easier, hopefully. Here we are, one straight through. And then at the bottom, so again, I'm gonna do it page by page if I can. I can actually find the holes pretty easily, so that's okay. All you need to do is just to knot it. If you knot it quite tight, a couple of times in one direction, and once in the opposite direction. And that will hold it quite tight. And then depending on whether you want to put any dangles or anything, or what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do some knots. There's some, and to make sure it does